I am super excited about this episode. So, in this episode, we're going to get into the three stages of the mind: conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Then we'll move on to why do we dream? And
Mhm.
then, even more exciting, we'll get into some of the ins and outs of the most popular things people dream about and what does it all mean. So on this show I have Jean Walters, the author of The Magic and Mystery of Dreams. And happy new year, Jean. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an exciting new year. Did you realize the this is a 6 year, by the way?
What does that mean?
So every year there's a numerical quality to the energy of that year. Like last year was 5, which is all about change. 5 is change. So guess what happened last year? Everything changed. So this year is a 6 year, and 6 is all about nurturing, kindness, compassion. Yay! So I think we're all looking forward to a kinder year.
And I'm great because we're getting to bring that forward for my audience, and with what you do, there's so much love in this book, and that's where it comes from, and that's what it's always about. So okay, let's get into first
Mhm.
subconscious, conscious, super conscious. What are we all talking about?
Well, the mind is, how can I, the mind is a tool, and we have to learn how to use this tool instead of it using us. Most people just chatter away within themselves, and they aren't even discriminating what comes in and what goes out. So it ends up being pretty chaotic for them. But the mind has different gradations, meaning, or different levels, we might say. And some of these are heavier and some of them are lighter. But when we talk about the mind sort of being divided, it's not actually divided, it's just that it has different levels. And so when we talk about our highest mind, that is the mind that vibrates the highest. And it's also the mind of our intuitive self. It's the mind of the divinity within us. And so what we want to do is train our mind, and I mean that specifically to train our mind so that we can move into that higher space. That's where we're going to get our answers. That's where we're going to get our peace. And oftentimes we've let ourselves be distracted continually with the world and the news and somebody's sad story. And so what we're doing is taking on a lower energy when we do that. And when we do that, then we're never at peace. We're unsettled. It's just not, generally it's just a place of chaos. That doesn't mean we can't function. We can function, but we're not functioning at our highest and our best. And then of course the third part is that right behind the conscious is the subconscious. And that is a really important part of the mind to understand when we're dealing with dreams, because the subconscious mind holds all the information, the knowledge, the wisdom that we have, all our desires and hopes. And sometimes it holds the programs we've taken on too. So if I've taken on a program of I'm not good enough, then it's going to keep showing up in my life. If I go for another job, well, I'm not good enough. And yet at the same time we have the ability to change that. So our dreams, for instance, will show us what's in the mind, what's in our mind, and then we can recognize it like, there's some cleanup work I need to do, or there's some growth work I need to do. So that's kind of a really quick overview of the three sections of the mind we're talking about. But if you think about them as vibrational levels, I think it makes it easier.
I've never aligned that. So again, we always continually working on ourselves and
Mhm.
and knowing that there's frequencies, lower
Yeah,
frequencies,
yeah.
hate, greed,
Oh, yeah,
fear,
yeah.
guilt, and then the higher
Yeah.
frequencies of love, generosity.
Yes.
So are you
Kindness.
saying that the brain and the consciousness of our mind correlates exactly to the state in which we vibrate emotionally?
Yeah, where we put our attention, and the brain is just a tool. Also, the brain is sort of like your receiving station. If you were a radio, your brain would be the radio that's receiving the frequencies from your mental broadcast. So yeah, the we can always know where we are by what's going on in our life. If we're experiencing chaos, then we really need to sort of step back and go, how have I been distracted from the truth of my being, from the love that I truly am? How have I been distracted? And then you can bring yourself back into a better place. It's doable, it's fun actually, and but it gives you a sense of control in your life.
And you know what? We're all looking to ground ourselves and have more space and control
Yeah.
in everything that's going on. So, okay, so then the next question would be, why do we dream?
Oh, okay. Well, the dreaming process is a way that we process our day. So let's say, whatever is going on today, tonight, there's a certain quality that goes on throughout the day. Maybe you're having a fun time, and maybe you're with friends, and maybe you're just struggling with something. But the bottom line is that tonight, your subconscious mind is going to be processing all of that, and then it will present the basis of it in your dream. So for instance, I'll just give you an example. A very common dream is I'm at school and I don't know which class I'm supposed to be in. I don't know what my schedule is. I can't find my locker. And I'm feeling very lost and panicked because I know I'm supposed to be in class. All right. So if we look at that dream and step back and go, what's the symbolism there? We realize that we're missing something in our life. We're missing the idea of what the lesson is we're learning right now. What is the lesson? I can't find it. I can't figure it out. And so the subconscious will present that as a school because we're here learning, but we're missing out on something because we're unclear on what it is that I'm supposed to be focusing on right now. And I've heard that dream put in so many different configurations. Like one fellow said, I reported to the football team, but I couldn't find the plays. And I didn't know what position I was supposed to be playing. And so it's exactly the same dream. It's just saying, I don't know where I am in the game of life.
And I love how you like that you brought that example up. So I've had, which it seems to finally not be happening, but I had this dream that I was back in college and I missed a final, and missing that final, and it was a math final. And it was a math final and I didn't graduate. And then I had to then go back and it was an incomplete. So that's interesting, that the place of learning. Yes. So within that incomplete and panic, always panic that I felt, lean into that a little bit, because that correlates to what you were saying.
Perfectly. Yeah. And so there was something, I don't know how you see math, people might have different views of math. So you want to ask yourself, what does math mean to me? I mean, to me, it might be very logical, very sequential, but it would matter more about what it means to you. And then somehow or other, I'm missing out on that in my life. It's an incomplete because I'm not quite getting it yet. I love dreams because it points you to something that can be corrected, that can be changed. And I've had so many dreams that were just so amazing to me because they said, oh, I know what I need to change today. I know what I need to do different because of the dream. It never lies.
I love this. So for me, math was I'm a super promoter, right? That's where my strength, and so being the analyzer. So what you're saying is I get to move forward and continually developing my analyzer as I continue growing.
Yes, yes. Somehow the day before or the period you were in, you missed something with your analyzer. And so your dream was just pointing out your unrest about that you felt like you missed something.
I love that. I feel like I get to pay for this session and here you are. I love it. Okay, so let's get into a few of these what common dreams that people have. So as they're watching this, they can say, I have that dream, and open them up to where they get to go with this and what the mind is trying to tell them.
Yes, yes. Well, the first thing you want to do is pay attention to the feeling of the dream. So if the feeling is happy, I mean, I have one client and she's always at a party And so the way she looks at life is kind of a celebratory way, so she's at the party. Most of the time her parties are very fun, in her dreams. So she's looking, the feeling then tells you kind of where you're coming from. So if you're in the panic, you're like coming from like, oh my God, I missed something, I'm behind on something. So you pay attention to the feeling, because the feeling is going to tell you right off the bat, how you're viewing life. And then what I think is a really cool thing to do is connect that feeling to something that happened the day before. When did you have that same panic feeling? And then you can see what the correlative is, that this is pointing directly to that time when I was upset or panicked. So also it could be, oftentimes you're in the car driving on a road, and that dream would be about your pathway in life. So I would say, first of all, are you driving or is somebody else driving? Now, if it's your parent that's driving, that's cool, because your parent represents your highest energy. And why is that? Because your parents, when you grew up, they were like the end all. They were like God to you. They knew everything. Later on, we figure something else out, but your parents actually are a symbol for that highest energy, or, your divine self. And so if your parents driving, that's okay. But maybe your Uncle Harvey is driving and he's really a mean guy. Then you realize, I need to do some changing here, because I don't want to come from a place of meanness or jealousy or, any of those negative things. So we're on a road, and the road represents our direction in life. So are we lost? Are we on a smooth road? Are we on a rocky surface? Is the car running okay? And so all of these things kind of give you some indication of what's going on within you and your life. Sometimes the car might represent your body, because your body is a vehicle and the car is a vehicle. And sometimes it might represent a different kind of a vehicle, like even the career choices you've made, that's a vehicle as well. But we look at, is the car sporty? Or is it like luxurious? Or is it like a wreck? And then that gives us some indication of how we're seeing ourselves as well. So those are some really common dream symbols. But everyone in your dream is also a symbol. So I have different, when I look at my children, I have different symbolic references for each one. My son is very much like a leader and a coach. And my daughter is very much in charge, and then so I have 4 children, and they each have a sort of symbolic reference. But the same thing is true with your aunt and your uncle and your cousin and your best friend and so forth. Each person, when you have them in your dream, and I have this in the book, by the way, too, to make a chart of the people in your life and their dominant qualities. And then when they show up in your dream, you're already ready. You already know what they're representing to you. But every person in your dream really is you. So Uncle Harvey is just showing himself as a part of you, and so is your sister, and so is your brother, and so is your friend. And so we want to know if this. Sometimes we have the same people in our dreams a lot, because we're dealing with that same part of ourselves repeatedly. So yeah, dreams are very wonderful tools, because they never lie. They're very straightforward. In a dream of, say, seconds, you have a whole story of what's been going on in your life. So it's pretty cool.
In the book, which I'm going to find this fascinating. So you had a client that kept dreaming that her mother was trying to kill her.
Yeah. You know what? The truth is, that's my dream.
Oh, okay. And within
I put it in there that way, but yeah, because I want people to relate. But what my mother, this was during my teen years. I mean, we were really at each other's throats. And then I had this dream where she was going to come up the stairs and axe murder me. And then when I had the dream, I realized, okay, I need to back off. That, as much as I was punishing her for all her trying to control me, I realized I was way off the target, that I needed to back off. And so I did. That dream told me enough, and I backed off. So it changed our relationship completely because I recognized that she's a very upset, scared woman, and I'm not going to buy her program. And so I just looked at her like she was my mom and I didn't try to change her anymore. That was a huge shift for me. And it was really saved our relationship.
So another thing that's popular to dream about is water.
Yes.
Okay, so give us some scenarios of what that potentially would mean for in a dream.
Yeah. Well, it's not unusual for people to be at war with themselves. Maybe in my job I'm required to do something, and yet I don't feel it's right. Like, for instance, I had a client who was working at a chemical company, and they were sending these chemicals overseas, and she knew they were toxic. And she felt horrible about it, but at the same time, she needed her job. So that would have represented a war within herself. I'm doing these things. I don't really believe that they're right in my heart, but here I am. I need the money. So that's a kind of war that people create all the time. Are they doing things that go against their own conscience or their own integrity? Are they doing something that maybe they're not doing something that they really believe they should be doing, but they're not, and so there's a war that goes on. So war is every day. I mean, people, we need to get clean with ourselves. Like I said earlier, when I realized that I was creating all this turmoil in my life and probably in my mom's life too, I backed off. And so that's how simple it can be to realize I'm at war with myself. What do I want to do different here?
So segue into that thing of cleaning ourselves. Mm-hmm. So the presence or something to do with water is also really that I get a lot of water dreams as well. And so what can water mean in a dream?
Right. Water is life force. It's life. And so you think about the ocean, when we have a dream of the ocean, that is the biggest body of water. That is our quantum field. That is the energy of the whole universe. And so maybe we have a lake, and that's a smaller body of water. So that might represent more like a situation you're in. Because it's still a conscious experience, water. And then maybe you have a pool in a dream, like a swimming pool, and that's representing just one particular specific scenario. Like when I was going through divorce, I had this dream of going down for the third time in the swimming pool. And again, that was just telling me how overwhelmed I was. Obviously I wasn't going to drown. But I was overwhelmed at that time. So that dream was just illustrating that.
That's fascinating. Is there any other like really popular topic that people often dream about that we get to share with the audience?
It depends a lot on where they are in their life. Like, I have students that I work with every week, and their dreams tend to be of a different quality than like maybe someone who's never worked with themselves. And so it brings in more happy themes or changes that are being made, that kind of thing. Sometimes there's symbols, like one fellow dreamed of India, and he said whenever he dreamed of India, it was about spirituality, because that's how he saw India. So a lot of the symbols really relate to how you see it. So if maybe I would see India as something else, and he would see it as spirituality. So it's important that he go with what he sees it as, because when he has a dream of India, then there's something spiritual that's taking place that he wants to make reference to in his life. So just, I don't know, the common ones are the driving the car and, on your path in life, and, does this path end? Sometimes they're on a bridge, and then are they walking across the bridge? Are they staying on one side? Because the bridge represents the bridging that you're making in your life. Are you crossing over to the next thing? Are you advancing yourself? So in death, when people start really doing a lot of growth work, they have dreams of death. They have dreams of somebody dying, there's a corpse. But what it represents is that part of themselves that's dying, that's finished, that's complete. Because once we get into growth work, we let go of a lot of things that maybe we believed before or were relevant before, but they're no longer relevant. Make sense?
I'm going to go into this one again too then. So there is
Yeah.
a dream that all of my teeth are like, just
Body.
falling apart and coming out. And what does that mean?
Well, think about your teeth. Your teeth is how you grind things up. You take in food, which is knowledge, and you process it, with your teeth. And so if your teeth are kind of falling apart, it's because you're either one, not processing well, or maybe you're not processing, or maybe you're not really coming up with a decision from that. But the teeth are always about the way you process this knowledge, food that comes in. So we want to look at what's going on in your life right now that you are not processing, need help processing, are not processing to your satisfaction, things like that.
That's so helpful. Okay, so
yeah, that's what I mean. They're so powerful.
And so it's really, there's symbols, but there's symbols also to take in where are you in your life and what's going on. Question I have.
Okay.
So I've been always told that you don't dream in colors. And I have very vivid dreams and I see colors, or my mind is telling me I see colors. Is that true?
Well, I think you want to look at is this person is saying that a very black and white person? You see,
so we can dream in colors.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you dream in colors. I dream in colors all the time. Yeah, but somebody who's very black and white might only dream in a very black and white manner, because that's the way they are consciousness wise. It's always going to reveal your consciousness, where you are, and it's never critical. It's just here's what's going on. So your dreams are never critical. They're just straightforward.
I love this too, because the book is incredible. And you have so many credentials in what you do. Mm-hmm. And you're prolific. You have other books as well, which I'm bringing you back for. Yeah. But it's very technical, but the way that you write it flows. It's very digestible. It's enjoyable, and that's a craft. And I just want to give. I love the book. I think people should get the book again. The Magic and Mystery of Dreams by Jean Walters. Jean, I love it. It's a great book. Okay, Jean, New Year. What are you working on? What's in store for you?
Okay, what I'm working on, in fact, it's so fun for me because once I set an intention, it's like I open the floodgates, So I have set this intention that to really produce more podcasts, more YouTubes. I have 2 YouTube channels. I want to get more YouTubes out. What's fun about that is, as I said, the floodgates open. So it occurred to me, because I set this up as an intention, I'm going to do more of that. And I'm also going to do more writing because I more articles and just things like that. So three opportunities showed up like bing, bing, bing. So I grabbed them all, of course, because sometimes I'm a little bit crazy when with all the opportunities that show up. But so I had all these, I did a radio show years ago. It was 15 minutes, little segments, and each one was sort of a positive moment, and each one had a theme. And so I found the recordings of those radio shows, and then I sent them off to a friend of mine who will convert them into YouTubes. And I was so excited because there's a wealth of information in those radio shows. So that came to me when I set my intention, and I found those. So that's how the mind works. When you get clear on what you're important to you and what you want to do, it starts, it's like programming your subconscious mind. when people go, this year's going to be great. I'm going to have opportunities out the wazoo, and then they're programming. But if you're specific, like I'm specific, like I know exactly what I want to do. I want to share more information with people in that vehicle, then subconscious mind takes over and like pulls from the field of the quantum field and starts presenting this to you. And then so you see it in an email or someone mentions something. It comes in lots of different ways. It's fun.
You started this out saying that when we start to lean into our dreams, it actually gives us the tools as well as the freedom to realize that we are in control when we take responsibility for everything. And I just want to acknowledge your generosity, because your work shows that where you stand. And I think you're really truly a gift, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. Okay, where can people find you?
Well, my website is spiritualtransformation.com. Okay. And then if they want to reach me, Jean at spiritualtransformation.com, and that's JEAN. And of course, the YouTube, if they just search Jean Walters, they'll come across all kinds of goodies. And it's like, what are you working on? Well, here's something that'll help you with that. So yes, my gift is I am prolific for sure, but I'm very clear about what I know and what my gift is to help other people make the changes they want. Yeah.
And again, when it comes to the book, The Magic and Mystery of Dreams, it's really grounded in technical and science, but it's a flowing dream book. And I just, that is just incredible. Okay. Spiritualtransformations.com. We got Jean Walters.
That's
and again,
singular, by the way. That's singular, by the way.
Oh, it is. Well, I wonder why I'm putting an S on there, because you get to be more, because there is more of you. So I'm leaving with that. Again, Jean, thanks for coming on. Let's bring you back again. And I love the stand that you're taking.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you allowing me to share this time with you.